right, Evan Ginzburg back with Legends Radio, and our next guest is an author. He's an educator. He's a buddy of mine. He's written the book See You in CCU, a lighthearted tale of my open heart surgery. He is Steve Ludwig. How are you tonight, Steve?
All right, Evan. It's a pleasure to be on your show, and I want to say hi to Coole also.
Hey, brother.
How are you?
All right. All right. So Steve, it's very intriguing, the title. You had an open heart surgery, but it's a lighthearted tale. Tell us a little about the book.
Yeah, well, Evan, when I was 52 years old, I had quintuple open heart bypass surgery. And I'm an 8th grade English teacher. I really wanted to write a book. I think we all have a book in us. I know you have a book. I think it's Department 4B, like in Brooklyn. And I said to myself, well, let's see. I got home from the hospital. I started keeping a journal. And before I knew it, I had so many notes. I said, you know what? I think this is my book. So I said, well, I want to write a book, but I don't want it to be like a medical book, a boring kind of this thing and that thing. I said, I need to have some kind of humor in it. It's a serious subject, but as humorous as it could be. Sat down and wrote my book, and I'm going to give you some of the chapters, and this will give you an idea of the kind of lighthearted look I took at open heart surgery. Now, one of the chapters is, hey, who put this catheter up my penis?
Wow.
Another one is, what a lovely day to saw open a chest. Now, my wife Sue is a nurse for over, oh my goodness, she's going to hate me for saying this, for over 38 years. And there was a point when I got home and I was very constipated from all the medication I had taken. Nothing helped me. It was 10 days before I made number 2. So the chapter when Sue helped me out is called Sue Gives Me the Finger. You can imagine where the finger went. Yeah. You can imagine where the finger went. But yeah, so I put about 22 real short chapters together. Of course, when the book has to be serious, it's serious too. I got in touch with the Health Medical Records Information Department at Sac University Medical Center. Great heart hospital. And they sent me minute by minute what happened during the operation. So I do have a separate chapter there for step by step, in layman's terms, what they did to my heart. There was a part of the surgery, Evan and Cooley, when the doctor had to literally massage my heart by hand because it was, for some reason, swelling up. And I didn't know this until 4 or 5 weeks later when I got this medical report. And I said to myself, here's a man, a fellow human being, who saved my life, never mentioned a word about it afterwards. And yeah, it was pretty incredible. I have a couple chapters. Like I said, I go back between lighthearted and serious. My mom, who had passed away 2 years before my operation, she was given last rites by my cousin John. He's a priest. And I tell about sitting by my mom's bed, taking her last breath. And then 2 years later, my cousin John, without his priest uniform on, said to me by my bed in the hospital, "What if I say a prayer?" I said to myself, "Uh-oh, they're not telling me something. My cousin's giving me last rites now." But it wasn't, obviously it wasn't last rites. I still have a couple more years to go, I think. But, yeah, so it's a little mix, where it's serious, it should be serious, but for the most part, it's just a lot of silly fun. My brother Tom, he's a graduate of the Art Students League in the city, 57th Street. He's a really super artist, great illustrator. He did about 8 super illustrations for the book. And so it's kind of like a family affair. My nephew took the author's picture on the back cover, and my brother Billy's son. And it was such a thrill, I'll tell you. There was, Cool, you might appreciate this. While I was in recovery, I'm all whacked out from the morphine. Now, of course, I don't have a life. You know, I mean, I don't know how I would have made it, though, without the morphine for the first 48 hours. And actually, I don't advocate the use of drugs. But imagine I'm lying there, and I hear in my morphine-down stupor, one of the nurses said, would you like to listen to some music? Now, I had a breathing tube down my throat. So I just kind of went, so she said, well, what kind of music do you like? Sinatra? Now, Sinatra's great, you know, but I said to myself, she can move it up a generation or so. Now, I'm a child of the 60s. So I said to her, I tried to say with my breathing tube, I tried to say Beatles, because I love the Beatles. So the nurse said, Eagles? Sure, we have the Eagles. So for the next 2 hours, I'm listening to the Eagles' greatest hits over and over and over again. And the morphine's going through my body, and I'm hearing things like Hotel California. I'm saying to myself, oh, yeah, okay, I'm in the ICU, I'm in the CCU, it's kind of like a hotel, and new kid in town. I'm saying, yeah, all right. But suddenly, I hear, you know, there's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar, and all of a sudden the morphine's kicking in. I'm hearing, in the background, I'm hearing, great expectations, everybody's watching you. Meanwhile, there's the morphine. You like my sound effects, by the way, guys?
Yes. Yeah.
So nothing seemed to click in until 48 hours later. But, yeah, the whole book is about little things like that. You know, it's funny. When I was thinking about what I was going to say when I came on here, and when I heard Cooley was going to be your guest co-host of it, my brother Bill, who's a real big music lover, see what you think about this, being we're talking about my book. My brother, he never downloads single songs. He always downloads full albums, because he says, to him, downloading one song is like reading one chapter out of a book. You know, I said, gee, that's a pretty good analogy, you know? And it's a shame that more people don't download full albums. I mean, you know, Evan, you wrote the book, I wrote my book, and Cooley, your albums are your words. They're your books. Your songs are your chapters, and your CDs are your books. That's the way I look at music. You know, so don't you wish, Cooley, more people would download, you know, the full albums, the full CDs, the whole effect?
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I came up in the era where albums were revered as, you know, the big commodity. You know, you waited for an artist to put out a full album because you knew you were on your way to an adventure. And, you know, on top of the music, you had the album covers, which incorporated, you know, some really interesting artwork back in, you know,
I 100%.
So it was more than just listening to music. I mean, the music was a huge chunk of it, but it was also the visual adventure that you were taking on with the artwork, with some of the mention of producers and stuff like that. If you were a musician, those are some of the things you were interested in. Now, I think the industry kind of prides itself on taking advantage of people's short attention span, which is why more artists in the industry are just releasing singles, because releasing a whole album, when people just listen to it and say, all right, what else do you have? Like, maybe right after they listen to the album, and they may not even get through the whole album, and they're ready to listen to the next biggest and baddest record out, so to speak. So
it's on that way. So, you know, listeners, download the whole CD. I mean, you don't know what you're missing with all music, really. You know, it was funny when I got home, Evan, from the hospital. One of the problems I had was there was still some drugs in my system, and I had temporary memory loss. So I wasn't allowed to take any baths yet, because my chest had been sawed apart and the rib cage ripped apart, and every time I would sneeze, I'd be afraid that my intestines would pop out of my chest and the staples would pop out. So anyway, I still had to take Percocets when I got home. So I could only take showers, and I had to stand with my back to the water spraying down, and you saw soap because the bars of soap were too hard. So I couldn't wait to take a bath, but I couldn't remember what you called it. So my wife, Sue, is in the living room. I say, Sue, what do you call it when you put water in a tub and you sit down?
Oh, wow.
She says, take a bath? said, yeah. When can I take a bath? You know, and it was so weird. I'm saying to myself, am I ever going to get my memory back? So the book goes through all those kind of things that that person, you know, who had heart surgery or is going to have heart surgery or members of the family don't know what to expect if they read the book.